Go.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brother Ted Zwan. I wanted to do a video today on what you need to be buying or things you need in case you have to get quarantined or isolated during this COVID-19 outbreak. Not going to get too much into the numbers right now. But I do know that the numbers are up over 200 from yesterday, and we're averaging about 200 a day in the United States. So I just wanted to put this video out there because, just in my travels today and yesterday, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't know what to do, that's feeding into a lot of the misinformation. Like literally, I just left Advanced Auto, and the people in there, everything they were saying was absolutely wrong. So I wanted to talk about some of the supplies you need. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. No name brand stuff. We bought a good portion of our stuff today. A lot of the stuff we use anyway. So I just went to Walmart and replenished. A lot of stuff you go out there, you're going to find is out. Such as masks, such as alcohol, such as gloves. A lot of stuff is out. So I'm going to give you three alternatives to certain stuff, and then we're going to talk about some of the food stuff in a minute. So that's pretty much it. So the first thing that I'm going to suggest you go buy, especially if you're out in the public or if you're going to be out, is to go buy yourself some nitrile gloves. You can get these at pretty much anywhere right now. Most of the major places are out. Make sure you get a pair that fits. Fits where it's not loose on your hand or flopping around. I got these from Advanced Auto. It ended up being like 18, 19 bucks for 100. And that is about the going rate. I looked at another pair in CVS. They were about 9, 10 bucks for 50. So I figured I would go ahead and get the big box before these completely got out. They are latex, powder free. They're medium size, which pretty much everybody in my household, hands are about this size. So this is going to be the first thing that I'm going to tell you to go get, especially if you're out and about. Now, if you're at home, you really don't need your gloves. Now, the one thing that I will say about being at home is make sure if your house is not always clean, you probably want to do a deep cleaning. That deep cleaning includes, washing all your dishes up with some type of antibacterial, antiviral soap, washing all your clothes, all your linen, everything where, if it hadn't been washed in a while, week, 2 weeks, however long, I would suggest you go ahead and wash up everything today, or this next couple days, because as you see these numbers increase, your likelihood of becoming exposed to somebody that has it, that likelihood increase every single day. All right, so that's the gloves. So I'm gonna set that aside. The next thing. And I brought these three out for a reason. I got lucky today where I was able to find 91% alcohol. I got this from CVS. They literally only had 4 bottles of this left. They had a couple bottles of the 70%. This is 91%. You want the highest value you can find. I think the 91% is the highest value you can buy at the drugstore, but they're slowly but surely. Everywhere else, I literally had to go to 3 different drugstores, looked in Walmart, looked in a couple other places, and they were out. So alcohol is very, very important. This is an astringent. This is a disinfectant. In terms of how you use it. If the situation gets as bad as I think it's going to end up getting, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. You need to use everything that I'm showing you. You need to use it sparingly, meaning that if you don't have to use it, don't use it. in theory, the United States in this scenario should not lose power. Just like China didn't lose power, you shouldn't lose power. So in terms of hoarding food and all that crazy stuff, that's unnecessary. But what I will say, just because stuff, like alcohol, like gloves, like masks, they are high demand right now. If you have the opportunity to pick this stuff up, go ahead and pick it up now. Because if you wait, it's not going to be out there, and you don't want to not have it and need it. I'd rather need it than not have it. All right, or have it and not need it. So this is alcohol. So an alternative to alcohol, rubbing alcohol that you can buy at the drugstore. I just went by, and I've had this bottle for quite some time. I've only used it once or twice. This is Everclear. I just went by my local liquor store. He says nobody has been in the store buying this type of alcohol. This is a good alternative to rubbing alcohol. It is 95% alcohol. If you go to the liquor store right now, this bottle was $16.99. So it's a few dollars more than the rubbing alcohol, but by volume, it's almost double the volume. So this is one that I know a lot of people are not thinking of when they're thinking about alcohol, and it's actually more alcohol in this Everclear than in the bottle that I just bought from CVS. So that's an alternative. Another astringent is lemons. All right, and I didn't pull out some honey, but if you study like I study, you'll find that lemons and honey are two of the most common uses in medicine. They were most commonly used in medicine for the Egyptians, for the Native Americans, all over the planet. Lemons and honey were the primary two disinfectants and astringents when it comes to medical treatment. So if all else fails, if you got lemon, you got honey, and you got vinegar in your house, and you don't have anything else. Now, this is the lemon, the honey, and the vinegar. This is the last resort situation. All right. What I'm talking about today is 1 to 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the very most with this stuff that I'm showing you today. All right. So that's the lemon. Set this aside. Jaden, pick that bottle up for me, son. All right. So the next thing, and it's one that a lot of people don't, I know that people not thinking of this because I only know this because I served in the Marine Corps and I served in Iraq. And I know, Jaden, go out of here for a second, son. Vaseline is one of those things where if you have a wound, if you get cut, and you're looking for a quick way to clot the cut or slow the breathing or bleeding, Vaseline is an awesome way to do that. It is also, in the last resort situation, this is also a good way to start a fire. Hopefully it does not get that bad, and I'm pretty confident it won't get that bad, but the reason I'm showing this is if you're in an isolated situation or a quarantine situation, and you're cooking or, one of the kids get cut, this is a good way to stop the bleeding without, having to call the paramedic when you might not have paramedics available to you. So that's the Vaseline. Vaseline is also used for a lot of other stuff. You can even use this for cooking grease. Again, that's only if you just got to. This is petroleum Vaseline, so it is not clear exactly what's in it. It just say petroleum. So it's some type of oil grease.
Be recommended for cooking.
Well, it's oil grease, so it still can be, it still can be used for that. I mean, this is the very last resort. This is not, if you got canola oil, use canola oil. If you got, olive oil, use olive oil. This is last resort. And this is what I'm talking about. I don't know what people have in their kitchens or whatever. What I'm looking at is the 1 1 to 2 weeks, you should be fine. Once you get beyond that 2-week period, then it becomes an issue where you're having to look at the resources you have in your home and your environment. All right, and you know, if it ends up being like China and Italy, you know, China was on quarantine. The whole city of Wuhan was on quarantine for over a month. Italy at this point has been on quarantine, the whole country, for a little over a week. So, you know, that means that you're not allowed out of your home. So, you know, depending on how many people you got in the house and depending on how you're rationing things, you go through resources pretty quick. All right. So, Vaseline. The next two things, and you don't realize how important toilet paper and paper towels, specifically TP, toilet paper, how important it is until you don't have it. I don't know what, 3 or 4 months ago, I caught myself trying to go out to the woods and camp overnight, and this was literally one of the two things that brought me back home the same day. Because when the sun began to set, I realized I didn't have any toilet paper. All right, and yeah, I'm a Marine, and I know how to get by without it. But I promise you, I did not want to be up in the middle of the night trying to use the bathroom without toilet paper. All right, and this is one of those things in this type of situation. You know, they're not out of stock yet, but as things continue to get worse, toilet paper is huge. You know, and if it's a scenario where the water goes off, you realize real quick how important toilet paper is. All right. So toilet paper, paper towels. The reason why I bring the paper towels out, because the paper towels go hand in hand with the bleach. All right. When we're talking about viruses, bacteria, that type of stuff, right now, I just left CVS not even an hour ago. Walmart. They had no disinfectant wipes in Walmart. CVS, they had them. They had like 2 or 3 bottles. 2 old ladies was in there buying them. And I explained to them, I was like, hey, for the amount of money, that $8.99 that you're spending on those disinfectant wipes, you can go buy a gallon of bleach and get you some paper towels, and it serves the exact same purpose. All right? So that's where the paper towels and the bleach comes in. Now, again, this is all stuff that we use in the house, or maybe not the bleach. The bleach is, I bought this bleach specifically for this, but the paper towels that we bought are the paper towels we use every single day. So, you know, in this scenario, until I tell the house, hey, we code zero, we back to normal, you know, things like the paper towels, the toilet paper, you know, they're going to be being used a little bit more sparingly than we would in the normal situation. Because as I see these numbers continue to spiral up, you know, need to be thinking about, okay, where are the resources that we're using coming from? All right, so paper towels and bleach, they go hand in hand. With the bleach, bleach can be used for almost anything. Now, let me be clear. You do not consume the bleach. You do not consume the bleach. You can use bleach in your water. You can use bleach to clean your house. You can use bleach to even clean your clothes. But do not, absolutely do not consume the bleach. Now, in a bad situation, bleach is your primary disinfectant. This is when you watch movies and you hear these people talk about how they disinfect, bleach is the primary disinfectant that they're using. When the people walking, like if you go back and look at some of like movies like Contagion and Outbreak, what they're using to wash themselves off like their suits is bleach. All right? Like when I was overseas and I was actually on a NBC, a nuclear biological chemical team in Iraq. It was called the ECC Gold and ECC Red Team. And one of the primary things that they had us keep on our trucks in case we got hit with an NBC or biologic was bleach. And the reason for that is because it's the primary disinfectant that they know destroys anything that could hurt us. Or at least that's what they said. Next, ammonia. Ammonia. Just like bleach, it is a disinfectant. Now, it does have different uses. All right, and I encourage you to go and read the instructions on what both of the uses are for these two right here. Do not, absolutely do not mix them. If you mix them, you will end up in a world of hurt. The chemical compound that you will end up with is a lot like what is used in the gas chamber when they execute people in prison. It's the same chemical compound, the chemical mixture in that scenario. So do not mix ammonia and bleach. If you do, I promise you're not gonna enjoy the outcome. All right. So those are the two cleaners that you really need to have. I'll sit those down. I'm knocking everything over. Next, the almighty Lysol. And again, as stuff starts to go out of stock and demand goes up, prices go up. We have 2 bottles of this. This is about, I don't know, it's about 70% in this bottle. There's another can over here. Jaden, go in there real quick, son. This is about 50%. I was just in CVS. They did have this in CVS. Again, it's about demand. But they're selling for $9.99 a can. For this size can, not this size. It's $9.99 a can. And I was like, I had the option at that moment. I had to make some decisions. Did I want to go ahead and buy this today? I didn't. I chose not to because I have it at the house. And, the only thing that we're really going to be using this for after we deep clean the house is when Keenan comes home from school, if one of us go out, spraying our shoes and spraying our clothing off before we come into the house. And that's kind of like a wet clean to make sure, hey, you ain't got no crazy stuff on you. All right? You should be washing your hands. If you're out in the public, you should be wearing gloves, disposing of those gloves before you get to your home. All right? That's how that should work. All right? So, Lysol. Lysol is antivirus. It's supposed to kill the coronavirus. 99.9% of viruses and bacteria. All right? So if you don't have Lysol, you need to get some Lysol. All right? Very important. Next, first aid kit. And this first aid kit is the one that's in my shop or my storage area. It is bare. I mean, it has the basic stuff in it, Band-Aids, some gauze. But I have another first aid kit if I need to get to it. Actually, I got 2, I think, on the truck. There's more than one first aid kit around here, right? There's another one around here. Make sure you have a first aid kit in your house, at least the starter one. You need to have Band-Aids, iodine, and gauze at the very minimum. All right? Band-Aids, gauze at the very minimum. The extra one that I would say that you should have in your first aid kit is some type of like Neosporin, like something that's for cuts and scratches. All right. People talk about tourniquet. This is not a shit hit the fan video. So I can't see a scenario where you would really need a tourniquet or any of the stuff that I would have on my go bag. If you at home, there's plenty of stuff that you can use in those type of emergencies. All right. So that's that for the first aid kit. Next, I got acetaminophen, Tylenol, ibuprofen, Motrin. All right. Let me pause right here, guys. Let's go back to the bleach real quick. That's not Clorox. That's bleach. That's Walmart Great Value bleach. Acetaminophen. That's not Tylenol. That's not ibuprofen. The reason why I point this out is because, again, today when I was in the store, you got people looking for specific brands. All right, looking for Clorox, looking for Tylenol, looking for Motrin. It doesn't matter. What you're looking for is the active ingredient. The active ingredient in Motrin is ibuprofen. The active ingredient in Tylenol is acetaminophen. All right, so don't go crazy and be spending all this money on this high price stuff. Like today when we was in Walmart, all of the Clorox was gone. All the Clorox was gone, but there was plenty of great value bleach sitting up there on the shelf. And people not buying it because they think that Clorox is special. It's not. It's just the brand. All right? So make sure you have acetaminophen and ibuprofen in your home. We just bought these, obviously because it's flu season. We have sinuses around here, so both of these will help with that for us. So again, this is one of those things that in the scenario that we're in with the COVID-19, it's good to have, but this ain't going to cure anything, not in terms of COVID-19, but this is definitely something you want to have in your house during this type of scenario. All right? All right, next. We'll come back to the soap. Next, toilet bowl. All right? This is one of those things, again, where is if you're not doing this, you really should be doing this. The toilet and the sink in the bathroom are two of the places in the home where they have the highest bacteria and virus count. All right, just scientifically they do, in the doorknobs in your home. You can't put these on the doorknob, but you can clean the doorknob with bleach or soap or whatever. But if you haven't been putting toilet bowl drops in your toilet, I'm suggesting you do that starting ASAP. All right, with this virus going on, because I saw a report this morning saying that it lives the best in feces, all right, in poop. All right, so drop this in your toilet, and it's going to kill any of the virus or bacteria in your toilet. All right, on every flush. All right, bathroom and kitchen hygiene becomes extremely paramount now. All right, making sure that you're washing your hands and you're washing your food, paying attention to how you prepare your meat. When you go to the bathroom, making sure you're paying attention when you flush, making sure it goes down, making sure that before you flush, you're letting the seat down and stuff is not popping out. All right, and I know for some people that the idea that might gross you out, but there's this thing called the toilet bowl plume. And though you may not see stuff coming up and may not feel it or see it, it is there. So make sure when you flush in the toilet that you're putting the toilet seat down first. Then flush the toilet, then wash your hands. All right? Wash and dry your hands. And washing your hands, 20 seconds or more. 20 seconds or more. I have been, normally when I wash my hands here lately, I've been singing the Andy Griffin. I can whistle the Andy Griffin theme song. If you can't whistle it, sing it. All right? That's about 20 to 30 seconds worth of song. Or find you a song that you like that's about 20 to 30 seconds. Sing it every time you wash your hands. Making sure you rubbing, like I wear a watch. So a lot of times when I wash my hands, I take my watch off and wash under my watch. Wash my watch off. My watch is waterproof. Wash your watch off. Going back to the Lysol. If you got a phone, spray a little Lysol on your phone 3 or 4 times a day, especially if you're out in the public, to disinfect your phone. You should be kind of doing this anyway, and I'm guilty of it. I ain't gonna sit here in front. I don't do this every day, but today, looking at the numbers as they slowly going up, I did this today. Disinfect your phone. Disinfect the stuff that you have on your body. Your Bluetooth, your watch, your glasses. All of this stuff that can come in contact with the virus, you need to be trying to disinfect. All right? And making sure that it's not carrying. So that's the toilet bowl drops. We already talked about the Lysol. Let's talk about the peroxide. All right? Peroxide is an amazing substance if you know how to use it. Peroxide you can actually, don't drink, but you can actually put in your mouth, and if you got something where where you got like a toothache and you in quarantine for 2 weeks and you can't get out and you need to stop this pain. That's what peroxide is for. You know, if you get a cut and somehow you don't have any alcohol, that's where the peroxide come into play. All right, peroxide is a good thing when we talk about killing germs. So all of this is about killing germs and viruses. All right, so that's where this come into play. And I kind of jumped to the peroxide when I actually should have said Listerine. I use Listerine in the house. I'm the only one that does. But I actually bought this bottle for the house. All right, so if we end up in the house for an extended period of time for whatever reason, we have Listerine in the house. And it's one of those things, there's alcohol in this. This is something that you can drink that kills the germs, that kills the bacteria. All right? This is FDA approved. So it's one, she's looking like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it says 88 FDA approved on the back. All right? This is for that. All right? So where in a normal scenario, my wife would not be using this. But,
I use peroxide.
What?
I use peroxide.
You use peroxide. Okay. So, if you don't want to use Listerine, there's peroxide. Either or.
You just have to rinse your mouth more with
right.
peroxide.
So, that's that. Those two. Alright, so, last two things in terms of cleaning stuff and sanitizing stuff. This is Dial soap, right? Dial soap. This is probably the only thing in terms of brand that I'm going to look at. All right? There's a lot of other soaps out there, but Dial soap is what they gave us in Iraq. All right? Dial soap is what they gave us in Iraq. And, I'm not saying the military is always right about things, but in terms of this type of stuff, there's rhyme to their reason. All right? So I'm not going to deviate from what the military gave us. All right? And in this case, it was Dial soap, antibacterial soap, for us to wash our hands with when, we were doing whatever. All right? So in this case, we bought 2 packs of this. It was like $4 and some change for 8, right? Yeah, somewhere around there. All right. They did have plenty of soap at Walmart. So go pick you up some soap. Again, we use this stuff. Well, I don't normally use Dial. I normally use something else, a more organic soap. But in this situation, just like the bleach, I bought this specifically for this, what?
You have 10%.
I bought this specifically for this. All right. So since she's saying she got 10%, let me try to wrap this up real quick. Last thing, you need to have lighters and candles in your house. Lighters and candles. All right. In the case of if power go out, not only is it going to provide, the candle's going to provide light for you, but if you have to transfer, because people still going to need to eat. If you have to transfer from cooking on the stove in an oven and transfer to a grill, that's the alternative method to cooking in this situation. Is make sure you have a small, at minimum, 12, 10-inch grill to cook on, if not larger. All right? Again, this situation is about preservation, though. So we're not cooking like we're cooking for a cookout for 50 people. You're literally cooking just enough for you and your family, no more. That's it, for one meal. And only cooking, there should be no waste. Which transitions me to the food stuff. So, all the stuff that you need for the food, all right, and this is not a lot. What? She don't want y'all sitting and looking at it.
Hello.
So, the primary thing that you're going to need is water. Again, in this scenario, we're only talking about 1 to 3 weeks at the most. If power doesn't go out, we should be fine. Hopefully, your light and water company are going to be cooperative through this situation if it gets worse, meaning that they don't come and turn you off if you are unable to pay your bill or whatever the case may be. I will suggest if you got bills, the water and the lights, pay them before you pay your rent over the next couple months, on the real. Because people are going to be less inclined to put you out. But you don't need your water and you don't need your lights to go off. All right? But if your water does go off, you need at minimum 5 to 7 gallons. All right? And this is dictated, it's 2 gallons per people, per person you have in the house. So in my case, I got 3 adult-sized persons and a toddler in the house. So that the toddler gets a gallon by himself, and the 3 adults gets 2 gallons by themselves. All right? So it's 7 gallons for my house. So for each adult-sized person you have in your house, you need to have at least 2 gallons. So if you got 5 adult-sized people in your house, you need to have 10 gallons. If you got 4, you need to have 8 gallons. If you got 3, you need to have 6 gallons. All right? That's how that works. So water, in this case, when we went to Walmart, the still water was the same as spring water and tap water. All right? Same price. You want to make sure if there's the same price, just go ahead and get the still water because this water has been boiled. So in theory, it should not stale. It should not go bad. You should be able to sit this water in your cupboard for 5 years without it going bad, if not more. All right? So that's water. And this is used for potable and non-potable use. What I mean by potable, meaning cooking and drinking. Non-potable, showering and bathing. All right? Or washing up. And that's what you're really going to be doing. There ain't going to be no bathing. Ain't going to be no showering. And we're talking about bird baths here. All right? So that's what the water is for. Next. You want bread or some type of bread. In this case, we got pita or tortillas. All right? You want to have some type of bread that ain't going to go bad fast. All right? So we got regular bread, but you know, these tortillas going to last a bit longer and you're going to get more out of this than you would a loaf of bread. Now, with bread, you want to also make sure you have some yeast and some flour so you can make some type of bread. All right? And it goes back to the, scripture, bread and water. If it comes to the situation where all you got, bread and water is enough to get you through any situation. That's first and foremost. That's why I touched on the bread stuff first. So if you run out of bread, if you got flour and you got yeast, you'll be fine for rising bread. But even if you don't got any yeast, you can still make bread with the flour. Just put it on some heat. In the case if you got run out of power and you're using the grill, put it on some heat, and I promise you'll make what we used to call in the old when I was a kid in the country, what they call millie bread. All right? And that will get you through. I promise you. Next, sugar. All right? Here in America, sugar is almost indisposable. You got to have it. All right? So make sure you have sugar. This is not a requirement, but this is good to have in the house. As I'm about to spill it. All right? So that's that. Next, cornmeal. Again, just like with bread, it's one of those things where a little goes a long way. Cornmeal can make grits. All right? If you got a little milk in the house, some type of cream in the house, you can make yourself some grits with this. All right? Again, this is one of those things where a little goes a long way. All right? And that's what we're talking about. Crackers. All right? Again, all of this stuff that I'm talking about are bread-based things. Stuff that's going to get you through. All right? So crackers. Make sure you got you some saltine or some type of crackers. You ain't got to get fancy. As you can see, this is the Walmart brand. All right? This is not nothing fancy. I don't eat this shit. This is not my preferred ramen. But in this scenario, this is the ramen that you might have to fall back on. All right? This is a lot of calories. It gets you through. Again, that's what we're talking about, getting you through. Next is rice. Make sure you have some type of rice. In this case, this is brown rice. We got all different types of rice. We got, we cook a lot of rice in this house. So rice is one of we should be able to go about 2 months if we had to, just on rice alone. All right. And you would be amazed at how much and how long you can get out of rice. A 10-pound bag or a 5-pound bag, whatever you got in your refrigerator or in your house. All right. Just this little bit will probably last us about a week if it's done right. All right. So again, getting you through. Canned items like pickles. All right. Again, this bottle says refrigerate after use, but pickles don't normally go bad. I remember seeing, as a kid in the corner store, the same pickle jar set up there on one corner store for probably 2 years, before it was empty. So pickles are another good one that a lot of people don't think about in these type of situations. All right, next, peanut butter. Peanut butter. Again, just like the rice, a little goes a long way. You put it on some crackers, a couple crackers, that'll hold you for 4 or 5 hours. You do that a couple times a day, you good throughout the day. All right, crackers. Potted meat or canned meat. In this case, we got tuna because that's all the canned meat we got. This is salmon and tuna. All right, can of salmon. That's
tuna.
Or tuna. Can of tuna. 2 cans of this should get your family a meal if you know what you're doing. This right here should be 2 or 3 meals. All right. If you know how to make the patties, even in the scenario where we don't have everything we would normally put in this should get you 2 or 3 meals. All right. And she looking at me like, no, y'all eat them things like they're going out of style, and that's true. But under a circumstance where we're conserving, this will get us 2 or 3 meals. All right, there's 1 can of salmon. All right, so that's it in terms of the food. The last thing, the most important thing, and I didn't take out one thing. These are only 2 things you need to eat. This is America, the land of plenty. All right, if it got a good cast iron pan, and we have plenty. This is one of the primary types of pans we use in this house. And a good knife, you will be all right. All right, as long as you have some type of flame or some type of heat source. All right, you will be all right. Along with all the other stuff I said, you will be all right. All right, so make sure you have some type of way to cook, something to cook on, and a good knife. You can eat with your hands. All right, I know a lot of people don't think about some of the things, how they have to adapt and change to the situation. But I actually spoke to my wife about this a while ago. In the case where, this shit get worse than what it is, and it continues to get worse, your mindset and your way of thinking has to change. It has to change. There ain't no time to be being cute. It ain't no time to be being fancy. You use what you have to survive. And I'm getting the dirty out right now. And I'm not speaking just to her. I'm speaking to everybody that's watching this video. This is about your survival. If you get put under quarantine, whether you're a person that has it or you're under quarantine because people in your environment has it, it's about your survival when it's all said and done. All right, so the last thing I'm going to touch on, and I'm touching on this last for a reason. What you got, like 1?
I ain't know you. No, I'm on 5.
All right. The very last thing I'm going to touch on is the mask. If you go and buy a mask, you need to buy, again, this is another example where I'm only looking at the brand. All right? You need to buy 3M mask. 3M is the brand. And it's an N95 or a P100 mask. N95 or P100. Now, do not go out there and buy every single mask that the store has. Number 1, they're not going to let you do that now. And number 2, it is unnecessary. It is unnecessary. They do say that these are disposable masks. Do not dispose of the mask. All right? If you go into an environment like where a whole lot of people is, put the mask on. When you walk out that environment, take the mask off, put it back in its case or in a plastic bag. All right? Once you put it in the plastic bag, next time you need it, you take it out and you put it back on. All right? Now, I am fortunate. Again, I was on the NBC team in Iraq, so I actually had, and I kept, even though I wasn't supposed to, I kept both of my M5 masks. My primary, this is my primary, and I have a secondary. All right? This is technically the type of mask you need for this scenario. I get it. 99.9% of the people out there don't have access to this type of mask. And I'm not even sure if this shit is going to work because this canister has been in this mask since I was in Iraq. And so I might be shit up creek myself. But in theory, this mask should still work. This canister still should work. You know, it was only in service for like a week in Iraq when we was under threat. All right, but if you don't have access to an M5 mask like Brother Tez One, take yourself to Lowe's or Home Depot if they got them. Lowe's was the only place we saw today that had them. They do have respirator masks or P100 masks. They're about $40, $45 depending on where you go, and get yourself a mask. And just like with the N95 mask, you only use it when you're in an environment where there's a lot of people and there's a high risk of catching something from somebody else. All right, you know. So the two primary things, because this is not airborne, they're saying that this virus is not airborne, so the use of a mask on a constant basis is not necessary. The thing that you need to focus on more is your hands and controlling your hands, not touching your face, not touching surfaces, being aware of the people in your environment. Another example that we had today, and it's something that people need to start thinking about. If you are a healthcare professional and you are getting off of work or going into work, specifically if you're getting off from work, please consider that when you go out into the public, people like me see you and are like, I don't know who she's been exposed to. I don't know who he's been exposed to. So please consider that before you come out of your job or go into your job, if you're in uniform, in scrubs. Because as this threat continues to grow, the paranoia is going to continue to grow as well. All right? We had a scenario today where I told my wife, I was like, hey, won't you come over this way? And she was like, why? And I was like, because the person that you're over there by is a healthcare professional. I don't know who she's been exposed to, and you don't know who she's been exposed to. And I wasn't trying to be mean, but it's a reality in this type of situation. And yes, the healthcare professionals are out there for our good. They're doing a job to help us. So I don't want to alienate them people. I don't want to make them feel like they're not welcome. But at the same time, and again, it's about exposure. You know, you don't want to, I don't want you, you know, for all I know, you just left the hospital working with a COVID-19 person, and now you outside at Walmart shopping. You know, so that's how I see it. So that's it for now. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover in this video. If y'all got any questions, tag or hit me up on the messages below. Please share this video. This video is not created for likes at all. I don't care if you like this video. What I care about is that people are informed and that people are being safe and that they're doing what they need to do to get through this crisis. All right? That's what this video is about. So if you don't do nothing else with this video, please share it. Please watch it. All right? Because I covered a lot of information in this video. Please watch and then share it after you watch it. Peace.